Hello, everyone, and welcome to Yoga by the Moon. My name is Michelle, and I'm here to guide you through a first quarter moon practice for the first quarter moon for May 23rd of 2026. First quarter moons, we take actionable steps towards the goals and intentions that we planted with the new moon. So all of that, those seeds of intention that we wanted to grow, those hopes and dreams that we had with the new moon, we work towards bringing them to reality. We work towards nurturing those seeds, towards allowing those things to become our reality. This particular first quarter moon happens in the sign of Leo, and Leo is a fiery sign, and it lends its energy towards kind of propelling us forward on this pathway. And it also gives us its creative energy, so that any obstacles that we might be starting to face or anything that we might start to notice blocking our pathway, we can use its creative energy to think of ways to work around these obstacles and still work towards our goals becoming real and making our dreams reality. We are also in the sign of Gemini, the season of Gemini now. And Gemini asks us to embrace change. And what a time to start Gemini season, right? When we are looking to work towards making change in our lives. So this is really a great opener. This is a really great lunar phase for Gemini, just with that whole idea that nothing stays the same. The only constant is change, right? And Gemini really embraces that. Gemini embraces challenges. Gemini loves to figure out puzzles. It's a very curious intellectual sign, and it loves to face challenges. And so the first quarter moon, any of its challenges that it brings and all of its newness that it brings and all of these changes that we're trying to take to make take place, Gemini's like, yeah, let's do it. And it gives you that sort of confidence to work towards that. Gemini is also a very social sign. And so it asks us to reach out to our community, to reach out to our networks that we have, whether it's our family, our friends, our neighborhoods, or any other communities that we are a part of. It asks us to collaborate and work with these other people so that they can help us on our pathway. Because there's nothing that says we need to take all these steps alone. And sometimes, like Gemini likes to say, working together will help us accomplish an even bigger goal. It might even make the dream even more real and even more abundant. So taking all of that energy, we have a lot of just high intensity going into this particular lunar phase with a lot of momentum to work towards bringing our dreams into reality. And so we work with all of that energy today. We're going to have some creative, unique ways of looking at things because both Leo and Gemini are creative signs. And so we're going to use that sort of turning things on their head a little bit and looking at things a different way and bring that into our practice as well. We're going to embrace the idea of this energy and this forward momentum, and we're going to boldly go into this new lunar phase with this first quarter moon. So if you'll join me, we're going to begin standing on the mat today for our breath work. And then before we actually begin at all, I'm going to suggest that you take a block or a book, something kind of firm and hard. Maybe you have like an oracle deck or a tarot deck box or something like that, or a nice solid book, nice solid box of something. But you're going to want to have one here that we can use for a posture later in the practice. I'm going to scooch my mat back just a hair so you can see me a little better. We're going to begin by standing. Our breath work today is called double breathing, and it's a very focused breath. So it allows us to really look at the pathway ahead of us so that we can work towards that momentum. And Gemini is represented by the twins, right? So double twins. I thought that was a fun way to bring that into that element into this particular moon phase breath work. And it's a very energizing breath. And Leo is a fire sign. So we get to have all of this energizing forward momentum thinking with the element of the twins involved with our double breathing. And it's a simple breath work. It's done kind of how it says. You take one short inhale followed by a long inhale immediately thereafter, and then one short exhale followed by a long exhale immediately thereafter. And we're going to repeat that cycle a total of 5 times. In the nose, up and up. So I'll demonstrate the first one and then you'll join me for the last 4. See, inhale nose. Inhale again. Exhale mouth. Exhale again. Join me. Inhale short. Inhale long. Exhale short. Exhale long. Inhale short. Inhale long. Exhale short. Exhale long. Inhale short. Inhale long. Exhale short. Exhale long. Last one. Inhale short. Inhale long. Exhale short. Exhale long. Now to start our movement practice today, we're going to begin standing at the top of our mat. Nice, firmly rooted feet, shoulders back and down, chest open, nice, broad, tall spine, nice, long neck, very, very active standing pose. And then we're going to inhale and sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Clasp them together in prayer, and as you exhale, bring those prayer hands down through center all the way to the mat. Bend your knees generously here in a forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep those arms up all the way overhead, back to prayer above our heads. And then down through heart center. Take a breath here, standing in mountain with prayer hands at your heart. And then inhale, sweep those arms up overhead again. Prayer overhead. Exhale, hands come down through center, all the way to the mat once again. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant those hands firmly on the mat. Step back with the right foot, followed by the left. Look slightly ahead of your hands. Push forward. Bend at the elbows. Chaturanga. Press on up to upward facing dog. And then exhale, lift those hips up to downward facing dog. We're going to inhale our right leg up to the sky. Exhale as many steps as you need to get there. Bring that right foot between your hands. Spin that left heel towards the back right corner of the mat and plant the sole of that foot as you bend into that right knee. Right arm forward, left arm back. Warrior 2. Got my hair in my mouth and I apologize. Take a breath here in Warrior 2, looking ahead at the journey to come. Exhale, bring those hands, plant them on either side of your right foot. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Shift your weight forward. Chaturanga. Press on up to upward facing dog. Exhale, lift those hips to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left leg to the sky. Exhale as many steps as you need to get there. Bring your left foot between your hands. Spin your right heel towards the back left corner of the mat now and plant the sole of that right foot on the mat. Bending into that left knee. Rise on up. Left arm forward, right arm back. Warrior 2. Starting to build the heat of that fire sign, Leo. Take one more breath here. And exhale. Windmill those hands, plant them on either side of the left foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Shift your weight forward. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step, hop, or jump your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep those hands up overhead. Prayer down through heart center. Take a breath. We're going to go again. Inhale, sweep those arms up overhead. Exhale, prayer through the center line down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step, hop, or jump back to plank. Shift your weight forward. Chaturanga to upward facing dog. Lifting those hips high to downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up to the sky. Exhale, open that right foot all the way over till it lands on the left side of your mat. And opening your chest towards the ceiling. Wild thing. Looking at things a different way, opening our hearts. One more breath. Bring that right hand back down to the mat. Lift your leg up high to three-legged dog once again. And then exhale, bring that right foot between your hands. Stay up on the left heel this time. And rise on up, arms high to high lunge. This next pose we're going to do is where you're going to need that block. Stay strong in those legs for now. Finding that energy, that momentum here in this posture. One more breath. And then as you're ready, you can step that left foot towards the front just a little bit and reach your right hand down to the block or book that you have. Open your chest towards that left wall as you raise your left arm to the sky. And as you're ready, if you feel right, you can slowly lift your left leg to the sky, keeping those hips open towards that left wall. Half moon pose. The first quarter moon is a half moon. So here we imitate that moon phase. Finding that energy, that fire of Leo. One more breath here. Exhale, bring that left foot to meet the right. Hands to the mat. Generous bend in your knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step, hop, or jump back to plank. Shift your weight forward. Chaturanga to upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg to the sky. Exhale as you kick that left foot all the way over to the right side of your mat. Opening up your right arm with your chest towards the ceiling. And wild thing. Keeping our hearts open. Opening ourselves to possibility. One more breath here. Exhale, bring that left hand back down to the mat. And lift your left leg to three-legged dog. Exhale as you step that left foot between your hands. Stay on up off that right heel. Ooh. And rise on up. Get your hair out of your face. Arms up. High lunge. This is a very forward momentum kind of posture. Looking to take those steps. Looking ahead and looking forward to all that is to come. We have hope. We have energy. One more breath like this. Then as you're ready, you can step that right leg, that right foot forward just a little bit. Just kind of stay up on those toes a little. Reach your left hand down to that block, box, or book as you open your hips and your chest towards the right wall. Raise your right arm to the sky. And then as you feel ready, lift that right leg towards the back of the mat. Half moon pose. Once again, imitating the half moon, the half full moon of the first quarter moon. Embracing the energy, the fire that is Leo. Taking on that forward momentum, looking at things in a different way with creative energy. One more breath in here. As you exhale, bring that right foot to meet the left. Hands on the mat, generously bending those knees. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep those arms up all the way overhead. Clasp those hands at prayer. Bring them down to your heart. Take a moment here. Breathing. Feeling that heat. Feeling that life force beating in your chest. Inhale, sweep those hands up overhead once again. Exhale, bring them down through heart center all the way to the mat. Plant your hands, step, hop, or jump back to plank. And this time lower your belly all the way to the mat. I am going to stay up. You're going to want to keep your hands under your shoulders. We're going to do a cobra flow here. So we're going to inhale, lift up to a baby cobra, pressing on up into those hands, up, lifting your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. Exhale, bring your head down. 4 more like that. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down. 2 more. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down. Inhale, press on up into those hands to lift yourself up and come up into hands and knees position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. As you're ready, inhale, bring that belly to the floor, look up to the ceiling. And then exhale, round through that spine. Cat and cow. Taking a few moments to reset our spines, giving ourselves a little bit of a pause for TLC, because just because we're moving forward doesn't mean we don't need to stop and give ourselves some love. One more round wherever you are. And then as you're ready, we'll all meet in a neutral tabletop. Inhale, lift that right leg so it's parallel to your spine. And then exhale as many steps as you need to get there. Bring that right foot between your hands. Sink into your right hips as you lift your arms up high, staying down on that left knee in a low lunge. Imitating that high lunge we did just a little while ago. Still building heat, but lower to the ground now. Imitating itself in postures, duality like Gemini. One more breath in here. And as you exhale, bring your hands behind the base of your spine and pull your fists towards the floor to open your chest. Breathe in deep with your heart open, and then as you exhale, bow forward, coming to the inside of that right leg in a humble warrior variation. Lift those hands to the ceiling if it feels right to you. One more breath in here. And as you exhale, plant your hands to frame your foot and bring your right knee back to meet the left. Take one round of cat-cow to reset that spine once again. And we'll all meet in a neutral tabletop. Inhale that left leg to parallel to the spine. Exhale the left foot between your hands. Sink down into your hips once again as you lift your arms up to the sky in low lunge. We're doing a lot of vinyasa-like movements, one breath, one movement sort of posturing today to build that heat of Leo. But we're still connecting to ourselves so we can find that authenticity, which Leo and Gemini are both strongly advocating. They're strong in their knowing of themselves. So we will do the same. One more breath in here. And as you exhale, bring your hands behind the base of your spine once again, pulling those fists towards the floor as you open your chest. Inhale deeply and exhale as you bow to the inside of that left leg now. Lifting those fists towards the ceiling if it feels right to you in humble warrior. Breathing deeply, finding a sort of yin and yang energy here. Gemini is all about duality, and yin and yang is the epitome of duality representation. One more breath in here. As you exhale, plant your hands to frame your left foot and bring your left knee back to meet the right. Take one round of cat and cow to reset the spine once again. And this time, after that round, we're going to rise on up to standing on our knees. Now, you may want to come up on the toes so that your heels are up a little bit higher. And now maybe you want to clasp your hands behind your tailbone once again and just open your chest towards the ceiling in that variation of camel. Or maybe you wish to reach your right hand for your right heel and your left hand for your left heel as you lift that chest towards the ceiling, opening your heart. Camel pose. We won't stay here long, but this is another heat building posture as we open our hearts for the journey ahead. One more breath in. Exhale, come on up. And then we're going to transition to simply sitting on our bums, bringing our feet in front of us. Just come up lightly on those toes. And as you're ready, we're going to lean our spine back slightly, but engaging through that core, kind of pulling your belly in, pulling those shoulders back and down so your heart is lifted, chest is open. We're very active in our upper body here. And you may wish to stay on those tippy toes, or maybe you want to bring up your right shin parallel to the ceiling, followed by the left, and then reaching those arms forward. Boat pose. Inhale, open that chest up more. Exhale as you open your left arm towards the back of the mat, looking to the left wall. Inhale, bring that left arm forward. Exhale, opening through the right arm now. Inhale, closing the right arm. Two more. Inhale, open left. Exhale, close. Inhale, open right. Exhale, close. One more each way. Inhale, open left. Exhale, close. Inhale, open right. Exhale, close. One more breath here, holding boat pose, building that heat. And then as you're ready, lower your heels to the mat and sit your spine nice and tall. creating a sort of L or number 7 between your spine and your legs. Chest nice and tall and open. Legs out, long and active. Maybe you even want to flex through those feet, pointing those toes up towards the ceiling to really keep an active sense in the back of those legs. Inhale deeply, and then as you exhale, we're going to bend through that right knee, bringing our right knee towards the chest, planting the left. That's my left knee, I'm sorry. Planting your left foot on the mat, bending your left knee. My goodness, my yogi directions are terrible today. Now maybe you want to keep that left foot planted on the left side of your body, or maybe you want to cross your left foot over the right leg on the outer part of your right hip, right thigh. Wherever you are, we're going to inhale our right arm on up, and exhale, bring your right arm to the outer part of your left leg, spinning your left fingers behind you as you twist and look over your left shoulder. Half Lord of the Fishes. Twisting to kind of look at things a little differently once again. Stirring that creative energy in our bodies to bring in Gemini and Leo. One more breath in here. Exhale, gently unwind however you are, and bring that left heel down to meet the right. Once again, flexing through those feet to keep active back legs. Maybe you want to kind of wiggle through those legs just a little bit, shimmy a little, working out some of that tense energy that we have. One more breath in here, kind of neutral Dandasana, neutral staff pose. And then as you exhale, this time it is the right knee, this time that you bend forward as you plant the right sole of your foot on the mat. And maybe you want to keep the right foot on the right side, or maybe you want to cross the right foot over to the outer left part of your left thigh. Either way, inhale that left arm to the sky as you exhale and cross that left arm towards the outer right part of your right leg. Goodness, forgot what body part that was. Use your right arm to kind of prop you up, keeping your spine tall as you twist over, looking over the right shoulder now. Half Lord of the Fishes twist on the other side. Wringing out any stale energy, overcoming any obstacles. One more breath in here. Exhale, slowly unwind. Plant both soles of your feet on the mat now, bending those knees towards the ceiling. And then shifting onto our backs, keeping those feet planted. Now you can bring your feet as close to your bum or as far away as is comfortable for you. I like to keep mine pretty close, but sometimes some people feel too much tension in their quads or too much tension in their knees, doing bridge pose with their feet too close, so you're welcome to create space wherever feels right for you. But keep those feet nice and firmly rooted. Make sure all four corners of your feet are planted. Shoulders are pulled back and down, planted into the mat as well. Feeling those connection points as you inhale. Then as you exhale, we're going to lift our hips and followed by our spine off the mat here in bridge pose. Now you can use your hands to kind of press down into the mat to kind of create that yin and yang energy, that Gemini energy. Strong open heart posture. We're leading with our hearts here in this journey to create that sense of authenticity as we take these steps forward. One more breath in here. Exhale, lowering vertebrae by vertebrae all the way down to your tailbone. Back on down to the mat. Now, you are perfectly welcome to take bridge pose once again, or you can join me in plow. To do plow, we are going to lift one sole of the foot towards the ceiling, followed by the other. Now this looks like legs up the wall, but it's not going to stay like this very long. What we are going to do as we lift our hips up, just as we did lifting our hips in bridge, we're going to lift our hips up towards the ceiling once again. And as we do so, we are going to bring our tiptoes all the way down to the floor on the mat behind our head. So you can use your hands to kind of guide your hips. Inhale deeply, and then exhale as you lift your hips and lower those toe tips towards the back of the mat on the floor behind you. Now don't lock out your knees, but try to keep strong, active legs, just as we did in Dandasana before. Maybe you want to clasp your hands on the mat behind your spine, as we did in Humble Warrior. Once again, we are just looking at things in a different way here in plow pose. Turning things on their head, as it were. One more deep breath in here. If your hands were clasped now, you may release them and bring your hands up to your hips as you lift your feet off the mat and guide your hips down to the mat, once again lowering vertebrae by vertebrae. This time, as you exhale, gently hug those knees in towards your chest and rock from side to side. Massaging through that spine that just worked so hard to hold you up in whichever open heart posture you chose. Works so hard to keep us moving every day. One more breath here, rocking side to side. And as you come to center and exhale, slowly release one foot down to the bottom of the mat, followed by the other. Make sure you pull those shoulder blades back and down once again. Find a comfortable resting place for your hands as you arrive in your version of Shavasana for our meditation for this first quarter moon. Take a deep breath in, drawing in air through your nose, down to the center of your body, followed by a slow exhale, air flowing back out. You are here. For this meditation, we're going to be focusing on clarity. We're often faced with decisions that serve as a sounding board for our authentic self. Sometimes making these decisions is hard and it feels daunting. Or at times, we may act before we think, feeling a sense of loss. Maybe you're not sure how to take the first step. You've already made some success just by showing up here for yourself and taking action to support yourself in the ways you know you need. You've already begun to become more present and aware, and I invite you to start becoming more aware of your breathing. Just notice it. Maybe you notice the way your chest rises on an inhale, or the quiet sound the air makes flowing through your mouth or nose as you exhale. Maybe you notice the way each breath moves you softly and subtly. I invite you to follow your breath, deepening your awareness as you deepen your breathing. Breathe in the way that makes you feel most natural and comfortable, trusting your body, inhaling and exhaling, noticing the ebb and flow. Many things, if not all things, follow a cyclical nature, an ebb and flow. a waxing and a waning. It is part of our natural world, just like we too are part of the natural world. Inhaling and exhaling, ebbing and flowing, waxing and waning. The moon also takes part in this natural rhythm, filling and emptying, balancing light and dark, moving to a soft, subtle rhythm. When the moon is at its first quarter, it's half darkness and half light. The moon, just like us, is caught in a liminal space. Except the moon knows its journey. It is certain of its decisions and trusts that it will return to a state of wholeness. Intuitively, genuinely, in its own time. With this in mind, I invite you to return your focus to your breathing. That each breath has an opportunity to take action. As you bring awareness to your breath, you quickly see how you can control and direct your breath. Maybe you choose to deepen it. Maybe you allow it to flow passively. Maybe you send it down deep into your belly. Maybe you slow it down. Your breath is not just a vital function, but a powerful tool to help maintain and heal your body. Let's use our breath to help us align with this message from the first quarter moon. I invite you to continue to bring your awareness back to your breath. It's okay if you get distracted. You have a wonderful brain with many thoughts, and this is normal. All you need to do is gently remind yourself of your breathing and come back to it as often as you need to. As you inhale, begin to notice the way it feels, taking time to be mindful of your mind, body, and environment. Just take note. There's nothing to judge, nothing you need to do. You're already doing everything that you have to just by being here. Rely on your senses to guide your awareness. As I inhale, I am aware of my breathing. And as you continue to breathe, I now invite you to shift your attention to your exhale, continuing to notice your mind, body, and environment. Staying mindful, noticing how it feels to take control of your breathing or to not. As I inhale, I am aware of my breathing. As I exhale, I am open to action. Repeat this to yourself with each inhale and exhale, using these words to help you guide you to action and motivation. From here, you can intuit. What will be my first step? If you're ready to join me back in this space, you can invite some gentle movement back into your body, turning your wrists and ankles, bending your elbows and knees. Maybe you want to take a nice full body stretch. Maybe you've had enough of that and you'd like to give yourself a nice tight squeeze. Wherever you are, use one hand to gently press you up to a comfortable seat. If you had a soft gaze in your eyes or your eyes were closed, maybe now you start to flutter them open to the space around you. As always, I thank you so much for joining me in practice and sharing this lunar cycle that we all live together with me through yoga. I am honored and humbled every single time to have you join me. I can't wait to practice with the full moon with you once again. And from my heart to yours, namaste.